All right, I hit record. We're back with the results of the rookie draft with Bobcat, Hubs, Zane, and Cly.
Yeah.
Anyone have any opening thoughts on the draft? Bobby, I'll let you go first.
Well, I had an excellent draft. I mean, I started with a couple thirds, a fourth, and a fifth, and ended up with a first, four thirds, a fourth, and a fifth. So I think it was very well done, especially that trade with Ja to get Xavier Worthy at the 110.
You like that pick?
Oh, I love that pick. Having Worthy fall all the way to the 110, I didn't think it could happen, but
Especially with the Rasheed Rice stuff going on.
yeah, I just like he was someone that I really liked before he got picked by the Chiefs, and then when he did, I was like, oh, this like if I could get him, that'd be awesome. And then when it all lined up, I was able to get him, and not just him, but I also got Terry McLaurin and a first in 2026. But I did have to give up AJ Brown,
Oh,
one of the few pieces I drafted that are still on my team. Well,
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Hubs, what was your least favorite part of Bobcat's draft?
Least favorite.
Gotta poke some holes here.
No holes to poke.
Oh, let's see. Maybe just the QB in the fourth or the fifth.
The
Rattler.
Rattler.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a Rattler guy.
No. I think Bobby had a pretty good draft though.
Yeah, I mean, with Rattler, I was like, I didn't really like anyone that was left, and I was just
Yeah.
like, let me throw a shot at a quarterback and see if it lands.
So
Yeah, I
who-
actually really like
I was gonna say who's in New Orleans besides Derek Carr with the Rattler?
Rattler,
Just the Rattler.
wasn't
Jason.
Snow. Is it Snot or Snow? He's like the second tight end taken off the board. In the actual draft. I think that was a pretty sneaky pick just because, yeah, we're on tight end premium this year.
The Senator.
He was
The
taken in the
Senator.
second round, right?
Yeah, in the NFL draft.
I'm sorry, guys. I was lagging out for a second. But
All
yeah, he's
good.
taking pick 53,
Yeah,
Okay.
53.
so about
Yeah.
mid-second.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, which when it came to there, talked a little bit about the third round and how everything kind of happened. I was trying to trade into the second and into the third a whole bunch. Because I had Ben Sinnott and Malachi Corley that I wanted, and I ended up with. And so I was trying to figure out a way for me to get both because I had the 301. But so then I was able to trade a second to get the 304 and 306 from Zane. And I actually wanted Corley a little bit more than Sinnott, but I was like, if I don't draft Sinnott at the 301, Jai's definitely taking him at the 303, where he took Javon Baker.
Right.
And then Corley managed to get back to me, and I was like, lined up perfectly.
Is there anyone in the second that you would have wanted if you could have traded into the second?
I mean, I think it would have been cool to get Marshawn Lloyd where
Okay.
Bird picked him. I think
Mhm.
that was a pretty good pick right there. I mean, obviously, you have Pierce Hall, Adonai Mitchell would have been
Mhm.
cool. But those are probably the three that I would have been like, that probably if I traded up, I would have grabbed those players where they went.
Gotcha.
I might have done Pierce Hall over Mitchell though. But yeah, I think those were definitely three in the second round that were just really good. But the others, I didn't necessarily want to pay for where they went. We can talk about Fly's draft with all these quarterbacks.
Sure. Yeah, I really wanted Caleb. I really wanted Bowers too. I was trying to get the 104 and keep my 105, trying to make a deal with Jai, but Jai wanted my 105 if I got the 104, so took a gamble. I was I was considering trading up to the 104 to take Caleb because I wanted him that much, but I didn't want to pay that tax to trade up because I didn't want to pay that much. So I was happy with either Bowers or Caleb at the 105, but I really liked that I got Caleb, and I was gonna try to pair Daniels or May with him, but I just couldn't trade into the late first, early second.
Mm.
Yeah, I was talking to Jai at the 201 and he wanted 2 firsts for it, so I was like, yeah,
Oh wow!
um, but yeah, I really wanted to pair one of those quarterbacks with Williams, and then I wanted to try to get Penix later, and I ended up getting Penix. And then since I didn't get one of those other May or Daniels, I was like, well, I'm just gonna go after Nix too. And I was surprised that Nix fell as far as he did, but I was happy to get him there.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
I
then
actually think your draft was my favorite. Just you secured like arguably the best receiver, may or may not be, uh, the best quarterback in all of our minds, besides some naysayers. Uh, and then Brooks. I think like that Brooks trade was incredible for you. And if I knew he was going that cheap or that spot was going that cheap, I would have pushed
yeah,
harder.
I
Uh, I think
I
that
was a
first
little
round is so good for you.
yeah, I really like getting Brooks there. I was a little surprised making a deal there. It seemed like Gnarls wanted to move off of the pick, and I was cooking up a trade with him. Or I offered something and he wanted something different, and I was about to send him something else, and then he sent me something, and I liked what I was sent, so we made the deal. It did cause some rioting in the league for a
There was
little
some
bit,
trolling for sure.
um,
It
yeah,
wasn't that bad. That deal was spoon fed
No,
though.
we
yeah, yeah,
uh the Brokeback Boys didn't go
yeah,
too hard on him.
Yeah,
yeah.
Narwhal's made like 3 trades. I wanted to have him on to hear his thoughts, and he made like he traded away all 3 of his picks or something like that. He
Traded
traded quite a
down
few.
from 7 to 202, and then he traded his 209 and his 212. He kept his 202 once he got it.
Right.
So he traded the Polk and
Traded all of
Penix
his
picks.
original picks moving into the draft.
Yeah.
I think is he rebuild mode? Yeah, like that chart the other day.
No, he was
Said
a
he was in
contender.
rebuild mode.
No, he's contender.
Oh,
That
okay.
was from Dynasty Daddy. Jai had mentioned it before. I thought it was paid at first, but then I guess there is like a paid version, but there's a free version too. And
Yeah.
Jai brought it up again the other night, and so I checked it out, and it was funny that it assigns, those tags to everybody. It called Bakes a fraud, which was pretty funny.
Called me
Uh,
frisky.
yeah,
You can use it and use different data points. Like you can use KTC or you can use various different like ADP sources, and like
right.
and depending on what data source you use, to shift the rankings.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I was using whatever it defaulted to, maybe KTC. I only spent a few minutes on it, but and then
It's pretty cool. It also shows like playoff predictions and stuff too, like
mhm,
on a percentage basis and stuff.
yeah, that was cool. So quarterbacks in the first round. The only other pick I made was Vidal at 310. That's how you say his name. I really liked him. I liked the potential opportunity on the Chargers for him, and I just was looking at his college production. He had like 1,600 rushing yards on his final year, which thought was pretty sweet. So I know he's a 6th round pick, while Shipley was a 4th rounder, I believe. But
Oh yeah.
I like the situation for Vidal. So
I think once you get past like the early to mid third, you just take the guys you like. I don't think
Mhm.
ADP and stuff like that. I mean, it matters a little bit, but the
Yeah.
further along you get in the draft, the less it matters. I like Kamani
Right.
Vidal. I think he went to Troy, which is like a smaller school, but still a good
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, he went to
Yep.
Troy.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
But yeah, I like my draft for sure.
it was
Oh,
a good one. I like echoing what Hunter said. Neighbors. I think it's probably I'd lean Harrison, but getting Neighbors is no console. It's a great consolation. And then Caleb's a great pick. I personally would have taken him earlier than 5. And this is where it gets into a little bit of strategy based on like how different teams value the transition from 1 QB to Superflex.
Mhm.
Obviously in
Yeah.
Superflex, Caleb's a 101 every time. So for him to slip to 5, I thought was interesting because even in 1 QB rankings, he's typically taken at 5. So
Right.
it
That's
felt like
why
a
I
pretty
was.
good deal.
Yeah, that's why I had my doubts, like wanting to get him at 104 because I just didn't know if he was gonna
Yeah.
fall. But
Well,
clearly, I'm
Fuzz,
investing
yeah.
in the QBs.
Fuzz has a tight
Oh.
end addiction, so you got to watch out. Just hoarding the
I
tight ends.
probably, and he probably thought about it, but if I was Jai, I'd probably take Caleb 3 and even just roam at 4 and just try to get the stack. But, to each their own there. I was surprised that Jaden Daniels went as late as he did as well. But again, it just kind of goes back to how different teams value things. So,
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Oh, I considered taking Daniels the 107, but felt a little early to me, and I like Brooks a lot, and I'm not very strong on RBs right now, so I thought it could work out pretty well.
I like the Brooks pick. I think overall you had a great draft, I would say.
Yeah.
I think Penix at 212. I think that's about where he goes even in Superflex. He fell quite a bit based on his non-starting, most
Mhm.
likely, but I
Yeah.
still like Penix. Oh,
Yeah.
Nix, I think Superflex goes in like right around the turn, like 112 to 213, 214.
Yeah, I
Getting him
think
in
he goes a little higher than Penix normally.
goes quite a bit higher in Superflex.
Yeah.
He's like 8 or 9 positions higher.
That's
I just
crazy.
don't like the talent, but the
Mhm.
value is there, and especially at 305.
Yeah.
So overall, I think this is great, first for my opinion.
Yeah, and if you wouldn't have picked Bonitz at the 305, I would have taken him at the 306.
Oh yeah. Yep, I'm invested in those Superflex stonks.
I mean, Superflex is still 3 years away, right?
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's only like 1 year away for Penix.
Starts in 2027, so there's the 24,
three
25,
seasons
and
to play.
26 seasons to play without it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll win all those seasons. And then
As you get closer and closer, I imagine the values will go up and up for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
except me.
Then 2027 will be your year again.
All right. How about Zane's draft?
Zane's
Yeah.
draft.
So
Let's
Zane,
see.
why did you trade the 304 and 306?
The 304, 306, I just don't really value third round picks that highly. And so I figured if I could get back into the second, even if it is in a year, I think the hit rate on seconds is a lot higher. I try not to get too much of a rookie fever and take the value when it was there. I was if I did keep it, I was taking Bo Nix for sure, just based on the value. But
Yeah.
and you can hit on third round picks. It's not to say that you can't. Like I think last year there was Tank Dell,
Yep.
and then arguably you would say I think Luke Musgrave was probably a hit, and then even the third best I think player in the third round last year was Michael Wilson. So like the hit rate drops off pretty dramatically in the third round. So I just figured I'd take the second there.
Yeah.
But if you want me to talk a little bit about the other picks, there's definitely a teardrop at 106 to Brian Thomas. I had leaned Brian Thomas. Just the other option was, in my mind, was Worthy, or maybe Brooks. I just like Thomas from like wide receivers. And then AD Mitchell at 205. The second round was interesting because I was getting a lot of people messaging me. A little overwhelming at first, to be honest.
Sorry.
I had like four people maybe or something at once, and so, but it was good. I ended up doing the deal with Tim because it was the only deal that enabled me to keep more second round picks this year. Well, or one of the deals. There was a couple. There's like I said, there was a lot, but I really wanted Burton as well, and I really wanted a running back, and I liked Wright a lot. I wanted either Wright or Lloyd. But yeah, I'm happy with the three receivers I got, and the fourth round is just dart throws. So we'll see if anything comes of that. Not banking on it.
Why did you take Adonai Mitchell over Ricky Pearsall?
They were really close to me, and I might regret taking one over the other. I like the athletic profile of AD.
Yeah.
I think he had like a 9.99 RAS score. He's young. He's like 21. He only had that one real year of good production, but he's I don't know, just liked him. Pearsall's I think really good too. He's on the older side though. He's like 20 by the time the season starts. He'll be like 24, 24 and a half, somewhere in that range. So,
Gotcha.
but still a good player. I liked them both.
And Burton ADP, he's pretty far back, right? But I know he's a pretty talented prospect.
Yeah, because he was a third round.
His sleeper ADP is like mid third, but if you look at most rankings, like outside of sleeper, he's like a mid second. So it just depends on what ranking system you're looking at. He's a player that I really liked. I read some stuff that was saying that he was kind of like he could have been like a first round talent prospect, except for that he had some off the field issues. So that's kind of why he fell in the real draft. But he could. So we'll see. But yeah, I think he's a pretty talented player if he can, not punch anyone off the field.
So I like Fuzzy getting Jalen Polk a couple picks later because potentially being like the number one for Drake May or something could be interesting. Whereas
I like
Burton's in a crowded room at the moment, but we'll see.
Yeah, but they're probably gonna move off a T.
Yeah, T maybe will be there for this year. After that, I think there's a decent chance of it being Jamar and Burton as 1 and 2.
Could be.
And like I said, I like Polk a lot, but I just think Burton's a more talented player in a vacuum. He just doesn't have the opportunity share, maybe not yet, but they drafted him to fill in Boyd, and if T. Higgins moves away, then he can fill in for him. So, and then I drafted Jalen Wright because I like the idea of having a slice of the Miami backfield. I don't think Mostert's too long for this world, so at some point, maybe this season or maybe next season, I think Jalen Wright can fit in as the change of pace back or the 1A 1B for HN.
Yeah, definitely.
If he can beat out Jeff Wilson.
I don't think that'll be a problem, but we'll see.
Hopefully Mostert's been hanging out with Frank Gore, the senior. All that longevity.
I think Mostert, if he can stay on the field, he's a talented back. But
because I own Mostert, so I'm biased.
I read that one of the reasons they drafted Wright was because HN and Mostert, like it was hard to keep them both on the field at the same time, and they don't want to use like a bell cow. They like their rotation. So if you have 3 that you can rotate through, you're more likely to have at least 2 at a time.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's the Miami backfield.
Yeah.
Should we evaluate Kevin's draft?
Oh yeah, I think that's necessary.
Do we have to?
I can start real quick, or actually somebody else go ahead. I've been talking.
I liked his draft. Like you know, he didn't have a bunch of pits, but for the pits he did have, I thought those were pretty much pits I would have made in his position. Like Trey Benson at the 203, I think was pretty good because you know Brits went at the 107, so it's like to get Benson at the 203. I think that's around where he goes. He might sometimes goes a little earlier, but I thought that was really good. And then getting Jalen McMillan at the 307, kind of the last good like quality receiver, I think, in the draft. Like
Tez Walker.
Yeah, but I think McMillan's a lot better, and depending on how Chris Godwin, like after last year, he hasn't. Not sure how much he has left, um, but I just think in Tampa Bay he can do pretty well. I was pretty high on him, and then he took Garendo, which made me super sad, even though I knew he wouldn't make it to me. I just wanted him. And then Theo Johnson is a tight end I've tried to get in every league I can. Because you know, Darren Waller had like some like, is he gonna retire? Some like rumors about that. So it's like, if for some reason that does happen, then Theo Johnson would step right in. So thought that was a pretty good pick too. What do you guys think?
Zane, you had
I
anything
loved
else?
the Trey Benson pick.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I was 99% sure he wouldn't be available, but if he was, I would have smashed that all day. Jalen McMillan, I think he's okay. I think that wide receiver room's pretty crowded, but maybe he can emerge in like a year or two. Isaac Guriendo, like I was gonna take him for sure if he was available. He's an interesting player. He's on the older side, didn't have a lot of production in college, but he's just like an athletic freak. So it's always interesting when you have those kind of players get into it and get into like a fairly running back friendly system in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
And then Theo Johnson's not too exciting in my eyes, but interesting for Kevin.
Did anyone else try to trade with Kevin, or is it just me that tried and failed? No one else.
I think I hit him up. Let me see. I hit up so many people. I don't really remember.
Kevin's elusive, slippery.
I guess I did not, unless I tried to hit him up on Snapchat instead. It's a bit easier to hit him up there.
Yeah,
he's fickle.
Yeah, I mean Theo Johnson got taken just a few picks after Sanders did.
In the NFL draft, or are you talking about in this draft?
Yeah, in the NFL draft.
Oh yeah. But the best draft. Oh, go ahead. The best draft, Hubs.
Oh,
Tell us about your
player,
Hubs.
All right, he's 6'1". He runs a 4.3, and he's on a really good offense. And yeah, that's all I have. I just
Sounds
believe
like
in him
steal
so
the draft.
much. No, to be honest, I did not try to maneuver around this draft too much. I put up my Fort Knox
Hubs was punting.
mindset, just because I don't know. I just don't want to get swindled, and
I
I
made 2
believe in my
trades during
team.
this draft. That's not. You can't say the Fort Knox never makes trades.
Yeah, trade with me.
I get- Yeah, but I just didn't want to like tinker with my team too much this year, because I think it still has some firepower. So I'm just gonna roll with it, and you know.
Are you anti-trades from now on?
No, just for this year, unless I'm wowed. But
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I wasn't looking to trade into this draft. I just didn't think
Did you have anyone come to you and offer you any picks to like for future picks or
Um,
anything?
I have some offers on the table post draft, but yeah, I didn't really
For
get hit up.
players or for your 25 picks?
Oh, oh,
You don't have to give details.
some
I was just
people
curious.
want. Some people want my players for picks into 2025, but
Yeah. I know that last time we had a pod, I believe, maybe it was maybe even 2 times ago, there was a lot of Kendre Miller Inquisitors at the time.
Yeah, that's why I'm just chilling right now this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've coasted the playoffs last 2 years. If I can do it one more time and, you know, somehow hit a home run,
Just have to get a ticket to the dance in my eyes.
Oh yeah.
Just,
Anything
but
can
if
happen once you make it there.
exactly.
if things are ugly this
Anything
year,
can.
yeah, I might rebuild next year. So we'll see.
Well, and
Sometimes you gotta like zig and zag, you know.
you
Oh, yeah.
also, let's say, you're not very fortunate this season. You start out with a bad losing record. You don't think you're going to make playoffs. You could potentially tear it down mid-season as long as the trade deadline hasn't been passed yet.
Yeah.
And some
As
teams
long
that
as you can
might,
get your own picks back.
yeah, yeah. Then you want to try to probably get your own. I think I have your 25 first, so I'll keep that in mind. But
By
Yeah.
telling you a strategy to tear it down halfway through the year, but no biases or anything.
Of course not.
Well, plus, playing spoiler to Fuzz in the playoffs, beating him in the playoffs was championship in its own right.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Shout out Fuzz.
but yeah. All I'm saying,
Jared
aside
Goff popped
from
off.
oh
He
yeah,
did.
aside from having your 25 first, your running backs might be more valuable mid-season if
Yeah.
a team like loses some running backs or something, and they just really need running back, maybe like Kyron that's popping off or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I might need to if I feel a rebuild coming, I might need to get on that early,
The
Like you're
RB the
saying.
RB merchant's gonna deploy.
You never
Yeah.
know.
Wow.
They come and they go.
That they do.
Yeah, for Walker though, what do you see as
What
him
do you want for Walker?
on the yeah on the Ravens? Do you think that he can be the 2 or the 1, or in like, I don't know, like a couple years, or
That is a tough question. Good question, but tough.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
it's
I don't
just
know.
speculation, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he might be okay on the Seahawks. Like, I don't know how they're gonna play this year, so I really gotta
Oh,
wait it out.
no, I meant the Baltimore Walker.
Your draft pick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
You have 2 Walkers now. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
I could see the
Whoopsie.
confusion.
You
It's all
better
good.
trade one of them, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I don't get confused. I mean, they said he might be able to pass up to the number 2 spot.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, he's got that speed.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's definitely a dart throw, but I think the other receivers just aren't that good. So
Yeah.
it might work out. It's kind of probably a couple year project, but
For sure.
yeah, I definitely like him more than my Mims pick last year.
Yeah.
Kind of like Mims. He had an interesting first couple games. There's still a little something there, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Mims
yeah, he
did
had
start kind of
flashes.
hot, huh?
Yeah.
It's been a
He
while.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole team was a dumpster fire. So
Yeah.
What's next?
I could talk about so in the 4th round I got Malik Washington at the 411. Was a 6th round pick for the Dolphins. And I recently got a trade offer for 2 4ths for him.
Oh wow. Tempting.
And I was like, it's tempting, but I rather hold him and see what value he could have later than take just 2 4ths, because I feel like it's just not a lot of value.
Was it
Paid
kelp?
411. It's like immediately doubling your investment.
It is. One was for the next year, and the other 4th was for 2027. But
that's worthless.
I was just kind of like, this is a player that I really wanted to draft. So the fact that I was able to get him was really cool. And it's just like 2 4ths isn't going to be worth a whole lot. I'd rather just hold and see if in a year or two if I can get like a 3rd or a 2nd for him. Or just hold them all together. But that was definitely something that was interesting that happened recently.
By the way, Kat, what happened to Tyreek Hill? Let's hear about it. He's gone.
He is, but I think I gotta conclude, because I talked a little bit about my draft, but I didn't say everything. Because with the 306 that I also got from Zane, I got Luke McCaffrey, which, sent McCaffrey off to Bird and got Tyreek Hill. And, I had to replace one McCaffrey with another.
True.
So, got him there, which was really good. He was, like, I either wanted him or Bo Nix, which is why I was glad taking Corley at the 304, because then I knew I would get one of them. And then Will Shipley, I got at the 312, which was, I felt like super good value, because, like, I think Saquon will be good for a few years, but Shipley, I think, could easily be the number 2 there. And so it's like, give him some time, he can become the starter, and I really like everything that he did in college and just how athletic and fast he is. Pretty quick. And then, I had a dart throw in the 5th round with Spencer Rattler. See if he can take over for Derek Carr in a year or two. Just something in the 5th. But speaking of Tyreek Hill, I was, when trading for Tyreek Hill, I was like, I got real good receiver, boosting my receivers a little bit. And, someone happened to be interested in Tyreek Hill. And so there were a few exchanges, many counters were made, and I ended up trading him to Fuzz for Nico Collins and a 2nd and a 3rd round pick.
3 years away, though, right?
Yeah, the year that I'm rebuilding. The planned rebuild. I got these next 3 seasons, and I'm gonna win it all, each one, and then gonna just tear everything down and rebuild. But my whole
But you kicked him out of the retirement home.
He closed down the retirement home. It was his retirement home. Because, it was named Tyreek's retirement home. So he had to close it down and move shop. But I was able to get Nico Collins, who the very next day signed a 3-year extension, which has been very interesting, as every time I trade for a player, they get a new contract like the next day. So, I just have really good inside information. So if you trade me a player, know that they will get a contract extension the next day. Just a
You're
fair
their
warning.
agents.
Yeah. It's happened many times now. It's actually really funny how often this happened. Because I think it happened with Kirk Cousins too when Kelp traded me. Kirk and then he signed with the Falcons. Like it just keeps happening. But I like that because I think Nico will be good for these next few years, and then, when I start to rebuild, I think I may be able to get just as much as I did out of Tyreek, if not more, out of Nico in a few years.
Oh, I know Zane could listen to the Cat Team for another hour or two, right, Zane?
Oh yeah.
We'll move
it's
on.
just so good.
Yeah.
Can I chime in?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, speaking of contracts, what do you guys think about the Waddle contract?
Oh, it's interesting.
Big pile of cash.
Yeah. I mean,
There's a lot of those.
I'm a Waddle owner, so I'm happy about it just because, one, I don't have to worry about him going to a dog water team. I mean, Dolphins are going to throw the ball. Plus, I mean, if you think about it, if they have a dog water defense, they're going to be throwing the ball more, so more points for Waddle. Plus, I think Waddle's really good. He is a glass cannon, but I was happy to see all that.
Yeah,
Plus, he's a cool player.
they gave him a lot of guaranteed money.
Yeah.
76 mil guaranteed for out of 84.75 mil total.
Yeah. Yeah, that offense is great, so I do like securing a good wide receiver on that team.
The receivers are getting big
Anyways.
paydays this offseason.
Yeah.
Like Amon-Ra got a big bag too, right?
Oh, he did, yeah.
What's interesting is that a lot of the receivers from the 2021 draft class have gotten paid before the receivers from 2020. So like Devontae Smith, Waddle, Amon-Ra, pretty sure they were all drafted in 21, and they've been paid over the guys that are going into their final year from 2020, like Justin Jefferson and T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk. They all haven't gotten these contracts yet.
That's crazy.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So JJ's played 3 years already. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
I was thinking it was just 2. Maybe it's 3. Yeah.
I think it's been 3.
I think it's 3.
Just his rookie year was kind of like the second half of the season. Then the third season he was hurt. So yeah, kind of lost track of him.
Still had, I think, an insane rookie year.
Yeah, for sure. But I think his second year was even better.
Wait, yeah, for Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
He's played 4 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, because he was 2020.
Yeah, 2020. He's had 1,400,
Yeah, he's played
1,600.
That's what I meant when I said they're going into their last, like, he's a first round pick, so he has a 5th year option, but
gotcha.
He's going into his last year of his contract. Whereas players that were drafted a year later already have new deals, like Waddle and Devontae Smith, and I think Amon-Ra. Those players have had 3 seasons.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb was also part of that 2020 draft class.
Yeah, and he hasn't been paid yet either.
Wow.
And they're probably going to get paid even more than some of these other guys. Price just keeps going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jefferson had 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns as a rookie, so definitely not slow. Wide receiver 5.
Yeah, for sure.
We can talk about the fly trade they made.
What was that?
The most recent one. For Shakir.
Oh, with Kelp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fly's thinking in that.
I don't have the details on it.
Yeah, it was a Berg first for 25 for Shakir and a Kelp 27 second and Kelp 27 fourth. I was pretty high on Shakir for a while, and I got to negotiating with Kelp. I may have overpaid a little bit, but I was looking at a bunch of the numbers for Shakir and barely had any volume like the first 8 weeks. He had like 1 or 2 catches a game, like 30 to 40% snap share, and once he was actually on the field, he was on pace for like 1,100 yards if he was actually on field with his fairly low volume as it was. If just the first half of the first little over a third of the year he had like the low volume instead of extremely low volume, yeah, he was on pace for like 1,100 yards. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. He's the only like vet on the team right now for wideouts. Of course, there's Kincaid, and then they signed Curtis Samuel and then drafted Keon Coleman. But I think there's a path for Shakir to be the one. And even if he's the 2, if he gets the same volume, I think he could be a wide receiver 2. And if he becomes the one, maybe he could be like a low end 1, but it's probably dreaming too much.
Yeah, I think it was a nice trade, and you got some picks back as well.
Yeah, I got the Kelp 27 second and fourth. Who knows what Kelp's team's going to look like then, but if he's still kind of retooling, rebuilding, it could be, decently early. It could be like a 204, 205 with Superflex. Everything is going to kind of shift down a bit, right? Like for example, in this draft, like Bowers went at 104, right?
Yes.
But if this was a super flex draft, Bowers probably would have been shifted down to like, I don't know, 108 or something like that. It's funny I talk about Bowers right as Fuzz joins. But essentially, yeah, like since quarterbacks are being picked earlier in super flex drafts, it pushes other players down. So it makes, say, a late first more valuable in a super flex league than a late first in a single QB. And so if I could get an earlier second in 2027, who knows, it could turn out decently, even if Shakir, I don't know, if he's like a wide receiver 3 at best, which I'm hoping he could be a wide receiver 2 in scoring or better. Yeah. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the trade.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess since Fuzz joined, let's hear about the Fuzz draft. You there, Fuzz? He's not there.
His mic is powering
Whoa.
up.
Hello.
Hello.
How do you like Brock Bowers? I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Where
is he right now?
Classic Fuzz mic.
Yeah, kind of. Oh wow.
Whoa.
You're on the freeway.
You're cutting in now.
It's pretty rough, Fuzz.
Uh-oh.
He's in outer space.
It's like impossible to tell what you're
Earth
saying.
the Major Fuzz.
Like 90% of what you're saying is static.
You just can kill 2 of them, can't you?
I love loading up that ball. Loading up that ball.
Oh, we can talk about the Fuzz draft. He got Brock Bowers.
Is this better?
Yeah,
I could hear.
I can hear you.
Is this better? Okay, I got my headphones on as I'm driving.
Yeah. That's definitely better.
Oh man.
Okay, cool.
So Fuzz, tell us about your draft.
Oh, all studs, the Bobby approach, all hitters. I liked it. Like, I felt like I paid up for Bowers, but I saw that white boy run and I was like, I need him.
Yeah, it's worth it. get that tight end. Earlier in the pod, you said, or someone said you have a tight end fetish. So
thought you weren't usually a fan of the hardworking, first in, last out kind of guys, Fuzz.
You know, I think talking to Kelp so much, he might have rubbed off on me.
He has that
Fair
effect
enough.
on people.
Might have some of that white boy fever.
it's the iPad brain.
iPad. But I just have to get back.
You're kind of cutting out, but we got the gist of it.
Okay.
A little choppy.
And then you got Jalen Polk in the second.
You know, Verizon. No, I have T-Mobile. T-Mobile.
It's lighting up, but we can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Ah!
All right then.
A surprise guest. Anyone have any thoughts on Tim's draft or Jai or Narwhals?
I hate to lay into Narwhals, but the trade he made for Bo Melton, like that whole trade needs to be talked about. It's just
Yeah,
I
so
don't know why.
it was Gnarls 107 for my 202 and Mike Williams and Bo Melton.
So it turned out to be Keon Coleman, Mike Williams, Bo Mountain for Jordan Brooks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think Narwhal's point of view was he didn't need any more running backs, so he got like an early second. He got Coleman. I think on paper we all like getting the Jordan Brooks side of it, but it could be a world where it works out for Narwhals. He gets Mike Williams.
There's always a world where it works out, but
Mhm.
you just can't trade the 107 to the 202 for. I mean, Bo Melton's nothing,
Yeah.
and Mike Williams is. There's an argument that he, plays one game and gets hurt. I mean, like he's kind of, in my eyes, he's cooked. So
yeah, that's my mindset with that trade, and
I think, I mean, there's a world where Keon Coleman's better than Jonathan Brooks, but that doesn't make it a good trade.
Or does it?
It doesn't.
You're asking the real questions, Bert.
I need Tim's opinion. He's the trade master.
He could have gotten more for sure. That's why I just hate the trade. Plus, like what you said, Zane, like these receivers are so fringe.
They don't tilt. They shouldn't tilt the needle at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Narwhals originally hit me up, I had offered. What was it? Let me just check here. Forget.
Because
while you're checking, I'll just talk real quick.
I was gonna say he has 5 fourth-round picks. That's kind of a lot in the fourth there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's got 5 in there. Almost half the 4th round.
I liked the Tyrone Tracy pick a lot. I think he's a super I think he's a pretty old player, but he's also extremely athletic, and he's in a Giants backfield that there may or may Devin Singletary. He'll start off as their starter, but there's room for opportunity, definite opportunity for him. Braylon Allen at the 4.8 is a decent. I think he was supposed to be like a mid-third, so it's decent value there. Not a fan of the other ones, but I really liked those two where he got them.
Yeah, those two were really good. I don't really like his other picks. I mean, Stover's okay as just kind of a dart throw at tight end. But I mean, he's not going to be the starter. He's going to be the tight end too. But he's just competing with Brevin Jordan for that tight end too, because Dalton Schultz went and got a new contract right after I got him in a trade.
Yeah. So I checked the what I had offered. I had offered a Tank Dell for
No, I can't
the
hear anybody. I think
I
it's a red
we can
blue
hear
light
you.
broadcast ain't working. See you
Uh
boys.
see
No,
ya.
see you.
So I offered Tank Dell for his 107 and 209. But he said he didn't like Tank Dell, and then he hit me with that offer. And in the words of Hubs, I was wowed. So
It's a smash accept from your side. You don't have to defend it. I would have done it too. But I'm just
We all would have.
I'm just saying from his perspective, I don't know about it.
yeah,
But you never know. I mean, it's one of those things. Like even if it does work out for him, I still wouldn't agree with the trade.
right.
Yeah, a lot of people love to just trade for trade's sake.
That's the whole reason we play Dynasty, just to trade.
Yeah,
I feel
if we're
like
being honest.
yeah, I feel like he just wanted either Coleman or someone around the 202 area. He wasn't, just thrilled with
You could argue
the
that like
mid to late first.
yeah, you could argue that like that there maybe he had them all in the same tier, like Brooks, McConkey, Worthy, and then all the way down to Coleman. And like if you have them all in the same tier, that's fine. I just think you should get more from moving back.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I 100% agree.
so it's
Well then, yeah, like Bo Melton, like,
Mhm.
will he catch
nothing.
a pass?
It's like
this
somebody
season?
putting in beans on a trade. Like it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
I'll
got
stop
a fourth
roasting.
for beads
Yeah.
a while back. But yeah, well, we'll see how it turns out for him. Yeah.
But that was about it for
poor
Narwhal since he
Fuzz.
because he traded his 12 and 209. Is that right?
He traded
Yeah.
the 209 to Fuzz.
I almost thought the 209
to
trade
me.
might have been worse. I don't know. Are you guys Gabe Davis believers? I guess that one's like a.
Oh, that was the Gabe Davis one. Oh, such a
No, I wasn't a fan of that one from his perspective either.
I
But
think I blocked that one out of my memory.
Gabe Davis is
what
like
did you give him,
you
Clay,
need to have some
12?
serious faith to trade for him.
For 12?
He's scary.
Let me look up the deets on it. Don't remember it off the top of my head. There we go. So I gave him Keaton Mitchell, Ty Chandler, and the 24 404. So this year's 404. So Keaton Mitchell, Ty Chandler, and the 404.
Not a big fan of that one either, but I won't say anything else.
I
am curious though.
I'm pretty high on Keaton Mitchell. I was trying to just do Keaton Mitchell and Ty Chandler or Keaton Mitchell and the 404, something like that, and I ended up throwing all of them together, and that got the deal done. I think it's a closer deal than the 107 one for sure, at least in my eyes.
I feel like Derrick Henry has to get hurt for Keaton Mitchell to have any value, but we'll see.
And he sure won't.
Whoa.
I am curious for your pick at the 208 Berg. What drew you to Lloyd? Was it just because you have Jacobs, or seems like you have pretty good running back depth, but you maybe a little bit need a receiver? So it was interesting to skip over some of the receivers there.
Yeah, I like Jalen Polk for sure. I don't know. I was kind of had my eye on Marshawn Lloyd, so I just kind of went with him just because I like the player.
Just like get the player you like and worry about filling out receiver later. Kind of the mindset.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fair.
I do like Jalen Polk though, so that was kind of hard to not pick him.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Jalen Polk, I wasn't looking at Troy Franklin or any other receiver at that point.
Right.
Yeah, I thought Marshawn Lloyd was a great pick for Bird there.
And plus, Josh Jacobs he's kind of like a scary player. Like he has potential, but he could like fizz out. I don't know for sure. So with Lloyd there, if things shake out, I don't know. Hopefully, I have both pieces in the backfield there. We'll see.
I don't think we've talked about Jai's picks yet. We want to still highlight him.
Oh,
Yeah, we have not.
Arguably the guy that came into the draft with the most capital, and we haven't even mentioned him. A failure on our part.
Save the
How
best
many
for
picks
last.
did he trade away?
Came in with 6 first, so he took 3.
He traded the 110 to me. Did he
Traded
have
the
the
104 to
Traded the
Fuzz.
4 and then the
5?
9
Or-
or the 4, 10 and 8. So 4, 8, 10. Yeah, because he traded
he
8,
traded with
traded 8 to
Kelp.
Kelp, he traded 10 to you, and he traded 4 to Fuzz.
Yeah.
I do think what you said was interesting, Zane. How Jai could have gotten like Dunze and Williams back to back. Just I wonder.
That's what I would have done personally, but
I wonder why. I wonder
each
why he
their
didn't
own.
do that.
Get the stack.
He needed QB. It was also interesting too because he, I think he really needs a tight end too, so he must have not have been super high on Bowers.
I think he didn't like the landing spot very much.
Yeah.
But I think Bowers is good enough where he's kind of landing. It doesn't matter too much. Like, obviously, if he went to like Kansas City or something and Kelsey retired, it would be insane. But I think you could put him on the worst team, and as long as they don't just use him only for blocking or something, like
he'll get targets. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And
just
he's pretty
just
intriguing.
His upside is what's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think for elite players, landing side matters less. Like you go with the elite talent. I agree with you, Clark.
Yeah.
Like, but again, each their own. The 101, that's just chewing. Not really much to discuss there. I mentioned a little bit what I would have done at 3-4, but I don't hate it. Like Ayuk's a great player. It's not like a bad trade or anything. 8, 9, and 10 was interesting. I think, especially since he passed over Caleb, I definitely personally would have taken Daniels at one of those spots. I thought that was a little interesting. But yeah, it was overall. I mean, I like the draft. I like May.
Yeah.
He did trade back in for. I think he traded back in for Baker and Wiley in the 3rd and the 5th. So.
Yeah, because Tim had that 303, and then he traded in.
Yeah, if you select Tim real quick, Berg. I think Tim. I mean, he came into the draft originally with all 12 thirds, and he only took 2. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, he didn't come in with all.
Well, not the day of, but he had all 12 going into the off season.
That's true.
Yeah. They all got scattered back into their owners.
He got scattered, and then he took a bunch of them back, and then he traded them away again.
He was making some deals.
Yeah, but she got a bunch of quarterbacks too.
He did. And the top 6 quarterbacks are just Tem and I, and then Jai has the one, the May.
I like all of those. The top 5 or top 4 I really like. So.
The top 4 his picks or
top 4 QBs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you got Ricky Pearsall. I thought it was interesting them taking Daniels and McCarthy because I was under the impression that Tim was gonna tank for the 101, but he's made it so Kelp can race him for that 101 with those 2 QBs, because I feel like McCarthy and Daniels could really put up quite a bit of points this year.
Daniels but it's only one of them will give you points per week, right?
Right.
So and so Kelp has Herbert. So it's like they're each going to be starting pretty good QBs.
Right. But it's like if I was Tim or Kelp, I would probably starve every position that I could. I would get someone like Penix, like I did, but I would get
If you
someone
were
like
Telp,
Penix.
you'd trade away Herbert then?
I probably would, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would, unless you get like a mega haul, like a super flex type haul.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
think
I guess it depends on how much I wanted the 101, but
I don't think
or
the difference between like the 101, 102, 103, like I don't know if it's worth taking. In my eyes, it's like worth shipping off everything. It's easier to
Right.
rebuild when you have at least a couple foundational pieces than when you
Yeah.
start from
Yeah.
100% scratch.
Oh, for
At least
sure.
in my eyes.
Like, yeah.
Mhm.
But
Unless you get a whole bunch of firsts.
I thought
yeah.
Daniels and McCarthy was a good value at the turn.
Oh, it's for sure good value.
Yeah, which when I made that trade with Jai for the 110, he was thinking that I was going to go with Jaden Daniels there, since
Mhm.
he was trading me Terry McLaurin. And I was like, oh no, I'm going Worthy. But that was definitely like, if Worthy wasn't there, it would have been Daniels 100%.
The last pick in the draft, Jordan
Yep.
Travis.
Jordan Travis. Which could be something, but it's hard to tell.
Aaron Rodgers is going to turn him into a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
He was the quarterback that got hurt, that kept Florida State out of the playoffs and caused that whole debacle.
So sad.
Oh wow. And CNL's got Troy Franklin and Frank Gore.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it interesting.
The Reese Zamet, which is the rugby player.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did find it interesting that Tim got both of the Philadelphia receivers, and who were drafted in like what, the 5th and 6th round, or I think they both might have been the 6th round. Yeah, Johnny Wilson and Ananias Smith. Thought that was a pretty good move from him. Just so, because like one of them might become something. Like I think one of them could be that wide receiver 3 for the Eagles. So to get them both, I thought was a pretty good move. That one of them pans out to at least a decent flex play.
Sure. Yeah. Zane, you traded away this pick, right, for Pearsall? What did you get in return?
I got the 304, I think, and the 25 second next year. I think it was Tim's 25 second, so probably 201, 202, 203, somewhere in that range.
I always find it hard to project where people will be in the next year, especially with someone like
usually,
Tim.
I think
usually
Tim and
it
Kelp
is,
are going to be the 1 and 2, unless
They're
something
the
changes.
tankers.
Yeah, I think usually it's hard to predict, but in that case, I felt decently well about it.
Because also next year's draft, we don't even know how good it will even be. Like the player at that that spot could be just as good as Pearsall. So you're just kind of delaying a year for the pick. But we'll see.
Yeah. I got the 304, which I traded the 304, 306 for another second. So I just loading up on seconds.
Yeah.
I think the early seconds, like this year, I would have loved to have had like an early second or two. Like I would have loved to take Trey Benson, take Drake May, Keon Coleman, like all those kinds of players. And as Clyde mentioned earlier, I think as we get closer to Superflex, those picks become more and more. So like an early second becomes a late first kind of thing.
Right.
So I feel fairly confident that there will be somebody there that I'll enjoy next year.
Yeah. Like in this draft, where would you guys say the tier breaks are? Like after the 105 maybe, and then after the 201, and then maybe after like the 29 or 210 maybe.
Yeah, probably the 2-9.
Yeah.
For me, I would agree with you for the most part for the 105. I'd stretch it down to the 20 between 203 and 4. I think I'm Trey Benson and Keon Coleman. I think you could easily take one of those guys over like I've seen some rankings that have Trey Benson all the way up at like 111, 110. So like,
Okay.
but and again, it's a little tricky because we have like a hybrid superflex valuation thing going on.
Sure.
But that's for me. That's what I would do.
Cool.
And yeah, I'd say it's somewhere at the end of the second, like in that
Mhm.
2.9, 2.10. I'm obviously biased because I think I really like Jalen Wright, but if you
Mhm.
want to put it before him, that's fine as well.
Yeah, but so yeah, let's just say the 2.4 and the 2.10 are both tier breaks. So it's like the value of a late second, like or a very late second 2.11 or 2.12 is like 2 tiers below the early second in this draft for us. You know, like those
Yeah.
early seconds are so much more valuable.
Right.
That's a good point. And like it's at the end of the day too, you're not when you're in the draft, like if you're trading from it depends on what your tiers are. But if you're trading from 2.4 to 2.3, it's like it's one spot. But if you value it as a tier break, you'll pay up for it. Or
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
or the opposite is true. If you're sitting at 2.3 and somebody offers you the 2.4, you're like, I'm not just gonna take a 2.4 and like a random fourth, because it's like it's a tier break.
Mhm.
So, but I think once you get into like, for me at least, once you got past, I'd say like 3.4, 3.5, somewhere. Like I'd have Bone.
Yeah.
I'd probably take Bo Nix a couple picks earlier, but like once you get in that range, mid third, early third, whatever,
Mhm.
they all kind of drop off into like the same bucket for me, honestly.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just like take the guy you like. Like if you're
Mm.
reaching 9 or 10 spots, it's like who cares? Take the guy you like.
Mhm.
Whereas if you do that earlier in the draft, people will riot.
Yeah.
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 Sir.
Go ahead.
Oh, is there anybody's drafts we haven't really looked at? What about Kelps?
The Kelp
boy.
draft.
Oh,
McConkey
yeah.
and Rowan Wilson.
Kelp came into the draft, I don't think, with any picks, right?
I think he had the 5.12,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
But I mean, basically nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. He just needed a couple players to root for, I guess, during his
Yeah.
rebuild.
Yeah, it was surprising.
Yeah, I think he was beating down the door of everyone in the second round because he wanted. I think it
You
was
want
Roman
Roman Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was knocking on my door for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he went to every single person from like 204, 205 back, and nobody traded with them, which I thought was
Wow.
kind of interesting.
Have you seen his offers?
Have you seen
He
his
had
offers?
some okay offers for me at least. I just like they were close. I'll give him that if he's listening.
What did he send? Or did he send you some garbage offers?
I mean, in the past
Uh,
he's. Oh yeah, in the past he sent me some very suspect offers.
I feel like Kelp's the kind of player you have to go back and forth with him a bit. Like
Yeah,
you
he's
got to
known
see
as a
if he really
swindler,
wants it,
so.
right? Yeah.
Very few people will just give you their best offer right out of the gate, too.
It's only
Yeah.
Jai.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think going back and forth, it's good. Again, you can also kind of see how much they want it. A little bit.
Yeah, I think with Kelp, like, seen so many Alec Pierce offers in my inbox, like, I'm just not even gonna negotiate. Ugh. At times, we've made
Part of
trades
the
before,
package
but
deal.
it's rare.
I mean, I've heard stories about the Herbert and
Oh,
T-Law
that went
trade.
back and forth for so long. Somehow that it's
How
a
many
miracle that
times
trade
did
went
you
through.
how many times did you counter his offer with a counter versus a GIF?
Oh man, probably like 5, 6 counters with gifts just sprinkled in between.
Okay.
Was this over the course of like a month or something?
Yeah, I mean maybe even longer.
I heard something like it was like a year, but it seems like
Might-
seems a little much.
Probably
Yeah.
felt like 10.
Felt like 10. Yeah.
It's just a swindle battle between Hubs and Kelp.
Yeah.
As it stands today, how do you feel about that trade?
Not bad.
You got like what? Lawrence in like 2 seconds for Herbert or something like that?
Yeah. And both QBs are so like in fringe territory, whether they're gonna actually like pan out. I don't know. It's hard to even judge right now. I'm
T-Lock
just
had a
like,
good year this year. People were kind of sleeping on him because he had a bad.
I think
kind
they're
of
both
middle
Yeah.
last
pretty
year.
talented, personally.
yeah, it's kind of a white knuckle ride. I'm sure for both of us. We don't
Hold
know
Yeah.
on
what's
tight.
gonna happen. But no, it's fun to do trades like that, and as much as I despise Kelp's offers, yeah, it was fun. It was fun getting through that and just, seeing what's gonna happen.
I kind of feel like a super flex is approaching, and once it's here, it may be a little easier to trade quarterbacks. It seems like they're pretty hard to trade right now. Like usually there's a quarterback involved in a trade with another quarterback, like the T-Law and Herbert one, or the Mahomes and
I
Love
feel like that'll
one.
probably get more common, wouldn't you think?
I mean, possibly, but I don't know. I don't see too many trades that are like for a high value quarterback for just picks or something.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's hard in 1 QB,
Mhm.
but I think in Superflex it would be
Even harder.
almost even harder, yeah. Like if you're gonna trade, like what's Mahomes worth in Superflex? Like
A lot.
it's a lot. It's more than
Yeah.
a couple firsts, you know.
Right.
Yeah, because I think Mahomes got traded earlier this year for what, Jordan Love in the first.
Mhm.
So it's like maybe he's worth more or less, or maybe Jordan Love's worth more when it gets to Superflex.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, like, with trading in this league, like, the economy's been set. Like, we know the motion of the ocean. Like, sometimes it's hard to trade with certain people because they have, an identity. I like to be wowed. Zane's Fort Knox,
I just
there's
trade.
swindlers in the league, and just it is like interesting how the trading develops when you're in a dynasty league for so many years.
Kevin's the new
Yeah.
Fort Knox.
He is, yeah.
Can't get in or out of there.
I may have sent
He's
Kevin
Fort Knox, but he has the voicemail on.
Yeah.
I may have sent Kevin
Cannot
an
reach him.
offer for Gibbs, and he looked at it and never responded.
That's what Biggs does. He looks at it and doesn't respond.
You insulted him.
Get left on red.
I didn't send him an offer. I just inquired about it. There's just no response.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I'm kind of like stonewalling Jai right now. He's trying to get some. He's trying
As long
to
as
get
you
one of my
respond in the
prayers.
messages, I think it's fine. Like I just don't like it when people just ignore people. I think that's not ideal. But obviously, say no. You don't have to trade anyone.
I think silence is a no. I don't care about silence.
I just don't think it doesn't create good. It doesn't foster good community in my eyes.
It just means they're not interested. You gotta wow them to get a response.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's like
I just don't agree with that.
imagine a league with 12. Like, okay, let's say, you got one like really active person that would respond and such, and then you got 11 people that are just like 11 bakes in a league, right? Like they're all just silent. You hit all 11 of them up, and they're just nothing.
I mean, I'm in this other league with
Yeah.
Cat, kind of a random dynasty. I get offers.
Yeah.
I barely ever respond because they're just terrible offers. I'm not even gonna waste my time responding. That's my thing.
There's a difference between
Yeah.
like blind offers. Like I'm not saying you have to respond to blind offers, but like if somebody's like messaging you a DM and you're just like
Yeah, well,
ignoring
if they
them.
message me, then I'll respond. Yeah, but if it's just an
That's what
offer,
I
I
mean.
just leave it.
Like, yeah, if it's blind offers, like people send offers back and forth all the time. That's fine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
In
agree, and
general, the more communication, the better.
True.
I did tell Jai that I'd stew on an offer, and it's been a few days, but you know, as they say in Lord of the Rings, don't be hasty now. Especially because like sometimes like I don't know, trading this early can be a trap as well.
Yeah, we still
kind of
got 3 months till the season starts, right? June, July, August. You got time.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like saying you'll think about it and like
Yeah.
you're
Oh, for
acknowledging
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Like, that's nothing bad.
Yeah, it's just if you didn't respond.
We're only halfway
Yeah,
through the
I
off
feel like-
season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get this as much in this league. But I'm in another dynasty league, and like, there's someone that like will just like DM me like random trades that are just awful. And
Yeah.
at some point you just gotta cut them off.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
true.
mean, you send like a fair trade, and they're just gonna be like, no, I'm trying to trade. I'm trying to swindle you.
Take it.
Like,
Do
yeah.
it. Do it now. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah, trade etiquette is very interesting. This league definitely has, everybody pretty much has a little tag on them for how they act in trades. It's great.
Yeah.
What's mine?
You trade with kelp and kelp only.
Oh, that's not true at all.
And a little bit of
I-
Berg too.
And Fuzz
Yeah.
and Jai, actually.
Yeah, I was looking at the trades earlier this year, and I think there were 12 trades done by the cat. Like 7 of them were with Petersons. So, oh yeah,
That's
Yeah, I mean that's true. It's them and Fuzz usually.
yeah.
I feel like Fuzz is probably in everyone's DMs 24/7.
What's funny is I think there was one player that me and Fuzz were trying to trade for a while, and we just couldn't come to a conclusion for a while, and eventually he just accepted. He sent an offer that I had sent him like a week or 2 ago,
What was that?
which is I don't remember exactly, but I think it might have been for Kittle.
Oh yeah, so you've given them Tyreek and Kittle, okay? And I gave you both those players, so they
Yeah.
went from me to you to Fuzz. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah, I think it was the Kittle for Schultz where. Let me find that trade.
Yeah, Fuzz tried to get
But
Tyreek for me for a while, but it was always some sort of package. I was like, eh. But then obviously you
I
give me
inquired
McCaffrey, which is
about
more
Tyreek.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want some package for him. I want like something equal back.
What about the Nico trade?
That was the cat, right, Nico? I mean, that was a
Yeah,
Nico package. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, but
Fuzz hires Bobby to go get the player he wants from you, Berg.
Yeah. Yeah.
The players just go from Berg to Bobby to Fuzz.
Bobby's the
Was
middleman.
it deep state Fuzz thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that you traded him to me and then I traded him to Fuzz. That's actually pretty funny.
Well, okay, I guess I'll ask, because I've only made a couple trades. Like, I think I'm like 1 ahead of the true Fort Knox. The 2.
I don't. I think
second
I have more
round.
than you this year now. But we need
Okay.
can we get a count, Cly?
Sure.
I know I got a couple trades with Zane this year, at least 2 or 3.
Yeah, I've been sleepy. I've been hibernating. I just like before or like last year before the draft, like I kind of got not swindled, but I had unideal trades before the draft, like the Ken Walker thing and with Charbonnet and what have you.
Yeah, it's smart to wait.
So-
We're all just impatient. You're the patient one.
Yeah.
All right, one of you two has 7 trades. The other has 8 trades. Who do you guys think it is?
Ooh. I think I'm
Pretty
at
sure I have
7.
8.
Yep, 7 for Hubs, 8 for Zane.
Well, he
But
took the
Cino says
title.
6.
Fort Knox.
Does he only have 6?
Yeah,
Wow.
for this offseason.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
CNES was usually
Kevin
pretty docile.
Kevin only has 3 though.
Damn, I'm in 4th from last. Whew,
Yep.
I'm cooking.
I think you're renting out Fort Knox to Kevin or something, and
Yeah.
you're opening up your own business now.
Yeah, and then
There's a lot of
Narwhals
space here.
has 9, just one above you.
Yeah.
There's really like what 3, 4, 5 people that do a ton of trades.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, it sounds like the bottom 5 or 6 are probably all in the same vicinity.
Yeah. I can go through it here. We got Berg with 10. We got myself with 26.
This is like career or the off season or what is it?
No,
Just
this
this
is
offseason.
this
It's 2024.
this
Oh wow.
yeah, 2024 season when Zane reset the league. So 7 for Hubs, and then we got 51 for Fuzzy. We got 24 for the Cat.
Yeah.
We got 13 for Kelp. And we got 6 for Senos. We got 9 for Narwhals. We got 38 for Tem. Tem has been overtaken by Fuzz.
Well, Fuzz cheated with the dollar trades.
That's true.
Inflated
That's
those
true.
numbers.
I forgot about that. If you ignore those, then probably Tem is a little ahead of him.
I think he did
Bakes
about 10 of those.
Bakes has the 3, Zane has the 8, and then Jai has 17 trades. So
There's like what 3, 4 people that are kind of away from the pack of like the range from like what 3 to 13. It's like more than half the league.
yeah.
So
I'm surprised Narwhals isn't higher up there, or like,
He's only got 9.
yeah.
Not
I mean,
Summer
last
John yet.
off season he was, yeah, true. Yeah, we'll all see. We'll all witness, but yeah. Yeah, Fuzz is always just going off.
He's always making a deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had about 10 of the players for $1, and then he traded those 10 players to Tim for a 5th.
That one, oh man.
And then Tim, after the draft, dropped every single one of those players.
Oh no.
Oh man.
So he just gave, but I think he got like 11 beans. So Fuzz basically gave him all the beans that he traded, like the amount of beans he traded away to get those players is what he gave Tim for a 5th.
I hope Fuzz picks him back up.
Oh yeah. So I mean, if you take that away, Fuzz goes from 51 to like 40. Just above Tim.
Tim might need to step it up, get some more trades in.
I haven't gotten many offers from Tim lately. I think he's mad at me. Cause I kind of stonewall him now.
Uh-oh. You got to keep those negotiations with the pawn shop.
trade
at a good,
relations
healthy
are
level.
being hurt, Hubs.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
You need good rapport with the pawn shop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've had any trades with Tim in a while either.
The pawn
I
shop
had
is
quite a few
retooling
with
right
them.
now.
He's been sleepy, like. I don't think he was very happy about Fuzz and I just like trolling the chat the other week. Kind of.
Oh, is that the same name thing?
Same name thing, and he
Yeah.
seemed
Who
like
was
he was getting. Oh, Tim. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't very happy about that.
And then Kelp was holding the chat hostage by spamming
Yeah, I know.
like hundreds of NASCAR gifs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classic
You said
off-season
100. Sorry, I took my mic off for a sec. You said 150 gifts.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, he
NASCAR.
said he was trying to load in that. It was just like, oh my gosh, Kelvin.
But he was spamming like so many.
I'm
It was
surprised we didn't take
wild.
Sleeper down.
I know.
Probably the
it
most
did for a
active
minute.
group outside of the
Yeah.
season.
Sleeper's like, what are these guys doing in this league? So many messages
Sleeper
every
looks
day.
at like their activity and like, what the hell is this group?
Why is it so active?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our league is way more active than any of my other leagues. Even my 32 team league.
32.
Sounds like hell.
32 sleepy boys.
No, I mean, a lot of them are active and like it. It's probably my second most active, but ours is still somehow just
32
so
sleepy
active.
boys.
That it's interesting being in a 32 team league.
Yeah, I've never been in one. What's it like?
There's not a lot of depth. And your first round picks are real valuable.
Oh.
Are they? Like, the last person is like a 3rd round pick, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like your first round pick's really valuable. Your second round pick is okay. Your third round pick, you're just kind of swinging for the fences, and then your fourth round is worth nothing.
3rd round pick? That's like pick 96.
Yeah, sure
That's
is.
that's like an 8th round pick in our draft.
But it's also the way that league is. It's like half offense, half defense.
Oh, okay. Well, at least there's
So
some value there.
So you can get. It's more so getting like defensive players at that point. But yeah, I traded a couple fourths and a player to get a third because I was like, I don't want these fourths. Just a player I drop. That's been interesting.
Did you have any questions for the group hubs?
Oh, sure. What's your guys' go-to McDonald's meal these days?
2 McDoubles, 2 McChickens. Every
My
time.
go-to is just whatever deal is on the app.
Oh, yeah. I know Fuzz loves the app. We always roll up to the drive-thru and of course he doesn't have the app ready to go.
Of course.
When we're at the voice thing, but he definitely cashes in on that.
I don't
Like,
remember the
it
last
depends
time
what
I
I'm
had
feeling.
McDonald's.
I like the quarter pounder with cheese. It's pretty good. Obviously, I like the nuggets. I like the McCrispy. It's a pretty good one.
Mm.
One of their new ones, or newer-ish, I think. I don't know.
I can't remember the last time I had McDonald's. I don't like McDonald's. I've been getting Wendy's lately. The spicy nugs. It's too
Okay,
good.
fair enough. Yeah, I like
Wendy's is
Wendy's
good
more.
too, but I mean, I still love McDonald's. It's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually either go just for a spicy McChicken, medium fry, maybe a Sprite if I'm feeling saucy, or the double quarter pounder with cheese meal.
Is the spicy
Sprite, always Sprite.
McChicken at McDonald's? That's good or what?
It's pretty good, yeah.
Okay, I've never had it.
Yeah, I mean it's not that spicy, but it's slightly better than the regular McChicken.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day when I worked at McDonald's, I would make it for myself. Make a triple cheeseburger with tomato and bacon.
Mm.
It was real good.
Sounds good.
More questions, Hubs?
Okay, best Star Wars movie.
Episode 3. No question.
Knew that was coming. I'll just
I
go
like
episode
episode
5.
4 the best.
Yeah, 4 is good.
Yeah, I'll say 4 or 5. I need to rewatch the old ones. It's been a long time.
I don't think
Zane?
Zane's seen Star Wars.
Whoa.
Oh, come on. I've seen them.
What?
I just don't have them memorized. It's been like 15 years since I've seen them.
Yeah.
Way too long.
I did have a question or a piggyback question from Hunter's first one, but what is everyone's opinion on Chick-fil-A?
I like it.
I've had it like once.
Only once, really.
That's insane.
Yeah. Well, like every time I drive by, like the line is out the door. Like it's. I don't want to.
It can be hit or miss.
They process pretty quick, the customers. The line gets moved.
They go fast, and it can be hit or miss. Like there's one in Covington's, which is pretty close to where I live, and sometimes it's packed, but sometimes it's empty, and it's one of my favorite places.
Okay.
So you like Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I love it. The closest one to me right now is like 45 minutes away, so I can't get there very often. But they are opening one pretty close, like 10 minutes away. So once they do, I'll probably
be
going there.
It's like 13 minutes away, I think.
Yeah.
I like it, but
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I like it, but I prefer Popeyes.
Popeyes is good too.
There's a Popeyes here. It's okay. I like Chick-fil-A more. When I lived in Maryland, I was 2 minutes from Chick-fil-A, so I had it all the time.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Any more questions, Hubs?
Is Tim gonna go back to back?
Of course not.
No, he said himself he's not going to win this year. He's going to win next year. I think is what he said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We all know I'm winning this year.
Yeah, because I've seen multiple. Well, yeah, true. Multiple different projections, and like Tim was on one today, number 1, and then I think the other day he was like almost at the last. I don't know if that was like different dynasty type projections, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, well, I'm lost. Like where his placing or what?
Oh, his placing, yeah. Like I think the one that was put out today said he was gonna be number 1.
The
what are you talking about?
I'm lost. Who put this out?
Tim, like winning it all.
I mean, he's definitely rebuilding this year.
You talking about the thing that I posted?
Oh yeah, did I misread that?
That was just the one that has Tim at first was just the example of 2023.
Oh.
It was asking people to input their own.
Okay. Yeah. Cut that out, Berg.
That's funny.
Keep it in, Berg.
Edit it out.
Tim might have to take you up on that. Go for number 1 this year.
Yeah. He might fight back. I don't know. Does anyone have any interesting questions, or I'm kind of out.
Should we do? Go ahead.
I have something regarding some potential future rule changes. I've discussed it with a few people, just like as an idea. But so I was looking into comp picks and like compensation picks, kind of like they do in the NFL, and it would come into effect when a player retires after they had a productive season. So, for example, you could take the top 10, top 20, and top 30 at a position, let's say, such as wide receiver, right? And let's just say Tyreek Hill decides to retire today, right? He's just like, I'm done. Instead of his value going from, high value to just nothing, overnight, what it would do is you would get a comp pick based on where he finished in the previous season. He's the number 2 overall wide receiver and half point, I believe. And so that would be a top 10. So you would get say a 113, like a 13th pick in the first round. And if there were multiple of them, I assume it would be like a 114, 115 if a whole bunch of highly productive players retired. But they're like in the top 10 at that same position. I don't think it would come up very often, but I like the idea because I would like to have someone like, say, Amon-Ra retire on have the option for him to retire on my squad versus missing out on the potential value of, say, flipping him in 5 years, say, before like he retires. If I could get like, say, a second for him or something when he's 30 years old. I mean, I have no idea, but I might want to flip him for like a pick or something versus if I could gamble. I like to gamble, clearly. Small time gambles, but yeah, if I could gamble and leave him on my roster and hope that he has a productive season before he retires, then I could get rewarded with a 113, 213, 313, something like that. I just think it would be it'd be a cool idea, but if people were against it, then I would only want to do it if it was pretty much like heavy majority or unanimous. But what are you guys' thoughts on it?
It does
Yeah,
sound a
I
little bit
don't have-
complicated because I think we're already currently kind of projecting like where picks will go. If we have to factor in like comp picks, I'm already getting confused. But obviously the idea is very new, but that's just my immediate reaction.
Yeah.
I'd want to see some and I don't know if it would have to be done manually, probably, but like just see like examples of like what players that would have meant, like what it would have meant, like what players retired the year before and they were like wide receiver 6 or whatever, just to see like how
Right.
often this would take effect.
Yeah, I could, since I brought it up, I could do the digging and stuff. One player that like it determines what your cutoff is for a top player. Like you could go like top 6, say top 6, top 12, top 8.
You can make the cutoffs whatever you want depending on how
Right.
aggressive you want to be with it.
Of course,
But-
yeah. But so if you do say top 6 quarterbacks, the year that Andrew Luck retired, I believe he was quarterback number 6 the previous year. So if you're doing comp picks and Andrew Luck just retires out of nowhere for you, instead of you losing this top quarterback, you lose the top quarterback, but then you get, say, the 113 if your cutoff was, say, top 6 because he was number 6. So I don't know.
I mean,
think
it's definitely an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I tend to be hesitant to just introduce comp picks in general, but
okay.
I'm not like, 100%
Mhm.
out on it or anything. It's just like
Right.
once you start mixing in comp picks, it seems like Berg said, it seems to get pretty complicated. But
Yeah, it yeah, it would add more complications, as well as like if you're looking at like ADP for a like a list on ADP, you're gonna have to kind of take it and then build your own, because you're like, oh, there's this comp picks here and there.
yeah,
I think
it's-
I would lean on like having them be pretty rare. So like instead of, say, top 10, 20, 30, it'd be more like, yeah, top 6, top 12, top 18, or even like top 4, top 8, top 12, something like pretty rare.
yeah.
But
I mean, it's something that we can think about at least.
yeah.
There's, in a related note, the other one that I want to think about at some point, or that we've talked about earlier this offseason, was I know I just said I don't really like comp picks, but comp picks for managers that leave the league. Like if we want to do anything like that, which
Right.
again, I'm not certain I do or not, but just there's a couple things that I think we'll bring up again, maybe in like July or so, as people are just fiending for something to talk about.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because if someone leaves the league, I hope no one does, for long time, of course, but
Ever.
you know, it could happen, especially, you know, someone could be frustrated if they have a bad team for like 5 years in a row or something. Um, but yeah, it would definitely help someone that's coming in to take over their bad team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. Anybody else thoughts on potential comp picks?
So you're saying like top 10 would be a first round, top 20 second?
Well, we would agree on a cutoff point, and so I think we would probably go more. You'd have to be higher up, so more like a top 6 or like top 4 or something like that. I just threw out the 10 just because it's a nice number, but yeah, essentially you get rewarded if a player retires if they were productive in their final season.
Yeah, and I think it would be good to have it like if we did want to say like every sits, like top 6 is a first, top 12 second, top 18
Right.
third, top 24 is a fourth, and then if you're top 30, then you could have fifth. I think it'd be good to have it like where it's like even if they weren't super productive, but we're still like pretty good, to have like a fifth in there, fifth comp as well. If we decide to do it.
That could definitely be on the table too. So
I don't know if it's worth the effort once you start messing with it, like for fifths and stuff.
Yeah. It would definitely make it more common. If it's just, you know, if you only did the first, second, third, say, with a fairly small like step size, it may not happen. Like there could be years where it just doesn't happen, you know.
Yeah. I just tend to worry a little bit about like implementing, I guess, what I would consider like more obscure rules.
Right.
It seems like a little bit more of a, you know, not a common one for sure. So,
right.
But
something to think about.
We are kind of transitioning to a more common format for dynasty leagues, like 12 team, Superflex, Titan Premium.
One thing I will add is 12 is the perfect number. Like,
yeah,
it's definitely the number.
Not 32.
Definitely not 32.
Yeah, I really like 12. 12 was good.
Oh, by the way, anyone that's here that hasn't done it, you should fill out that power ranking forums thing. I know people look at it, but they don't fill it out.
Yep, I filled it out immediately.
Yeah, I got 3 responses, so.
I opened
You're like,
it.
and one of them's me, one of them is yourself. Just kidding.
Just gotta put the cat number 1 for all the questions.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I try to limit the biases, please. Like, but yeah, obviously I can't control that.
Yeah.
Should we do any more trivia stuff? Or no, obviously not tonight, I'm saying in the future.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that stuff is great.
Yeah, those are fun.
I've had a couple ideas, I just haven't implemented any of them yet. Just a couple floater ideas. I thought about one idea where... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, the last one you did was super fun, but it looked like a lot of work on your end. But where I got cursed by Joe.
Yeah, that one was fun. That one didn't really feel like too much work. It was kind of fun putting it together.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was super fun.
I was thinking about a trivia where like you listen to an audio clip. An audio clip is like a player talking. You have to figure out who said it. I thought that could be kind of funny.
Oh.
But that one would take work because I'd have to like research and find like funny interviews or funny quotes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like that one could be kind of fun to do. Especially when you got players like Xavier Legette. He'd be obvious, but funny guy to listen to.
I feel like I mean, this one would take a lot of time to do too, but like a full-on Jeopardy, you know.
Mm-hmm. With like fantasy and NFL questions.
Almost what we did last time, wasn't it?
No, just like picking like, best stats from a wide receiver, $500 or whatever.
Isn't that what we kind of did last time? We had like the Jeopardy style, but we were playing it with like we were building a roster, but it was Jeopardy questions, wasn't it?
No, the last one we didn't have any questions. It was just you were just drafting players, right? And then random stuff happened from the cards you picked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was a Jeopardy board, but yeah, there weren't questions, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I didn't
the Jeopardy board
even
has,
design it as a Jeopardy board. I just put some boxes on a page.
Yeah, like the $100, $200, $300 questions, etc.
And if you answer it right, you get that much money. If you answer it wrong, you lose that much money. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be. I think that'd be pretty fun.
For sure.
But yeah, all the trivia games you've set up have been just A+.
Cool. Yeah, well, may get to another one here. We'll see. Oh, should we wrap things up?
Yeah,
Sure.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.